Hi, everybody. I just have to tell you that I have been talking for 11 minutes and didn't realize it that I had to hit go live. All these people, I was seeing comments and I was like, huh, okay, wow. I mean, I don't know. What am I saying? That people are like, y'all be nice to Dana. She's got a lot going on and blah, blah. Y'all, I have been talking for 11 minutes. Oh, my word. So here we go with going back over this story, y'all. Oh, my goodness. I was going to be so professional. Look how I have like such a professional little, I have my name down there and everything. Oh my word. Yes. Some of you had asked, did the time get moved from 3 Central to 5 Central? It did. Sometimes orthodontist appointments that you think are going to take an hour and a half end up taking the whole day. Yeah. Anyway, so I think my computer's fine. I just was talking. I was talking for 11 minutes, y'all. That's embarrassing. Oh my word. Anyway, here we are. All right. I'm going to go back and answer some of the question or answer the first question. And maybe this time will be even better than what I said for those 11 minutes. I doubt it. We'll see. Okay. Thanks for being kind, y'all. Oh my word. What is wrong with me? Okay. Here we go. This person says, okay, I have the hardest time decluttering containers. And then they go into describing a big shift around of the whole house that had to be done. And they're working on decluttering, working on getting rid of things. Says, I just have the hardest time getting rid of bins, desk organizers, and baskets. Help, please. Okay, I get it. Like, I get it. So one of the things that you need to acknowledge now, here at the beginning, is that you're decluttering and you're starting to see the power of decluttering. But if you're anything like me, for all the years when you thought organizing was the answer to your home that was out of control or whatever state your home was in, when you thought organizing was the answer, you had a lot of great intentions and a lot of hope that you put out there as you purchased these items that they came into your house. And so they represent something to you. This someday I'm going to have my house together. Okay. But remember, decluttering and organizing are not the same thing. What you are doing right now is you're decluttering. That's how you've emptied so many of these. And you're like, okay, what do I do with them now? The real power in changing your home is in decluttering, is in getting the stuff out of your house. What I learned was just decluttering, just getting the excess out, made me change how I viewed my home. It changed how my home functioned. It changed everything. And I ended up learning that I was fine with just decluttering, just getting stuff out to the point where when I opened up a cabinet, I found in there what I was looking for, okay, because I put it in this cabinet as the first place where I would look for it. I could easily access things and I didn't need the bins and baskets and organizing things that I thought I needed, okay? But even if you're not convinced, know that you can't keep all of them, okay? My decluttering process is not based on what is useful, what I might use someday, because otherwise if I based it on that, I would keep everything, right? So my decluttering process is based on where would I look for it first? Would it ever occur to me that I already had one? And does it have an actual space to live in my home? Okay. So as you have a an organizing bin that you have emptied and now you have to figure out what you're going to do with it, ask yourself the same questions. If I needed this organizing bin, where would I look for it first? Okay. If you go, is it because it's not a good one? It's kind of ugly. It isn't really the best kind. If I needed an organizing bin, would it ever occur to me that I already had this? Like, would I even bother to go looking for this? So, but even if you do have it, take it to the place where you would look for it first. And that space needs to be a limit, a container. That space is going to be a designated space where you would look first for organizing bins and containers. And that space can't be taking up room. That space can't be a place where you need to be putting other stuff that you're actually using, that you're actually, need for your everyday life. Okay. So you can't store a bunch of containers at the expense of having space for, you know, pantry space, for the food that your family needs to eat. You know what I mean? So it's like it needs to have a designated home, and that home is going to be a limit. And when that home is a limit, then when you take it there now, as where would I look first for an empty container? I go to that space, and that's going to help you naturally sort which ones are your favorites. Okay. Because if you just say it's an organizing container, I have to keep it, well, okay, but then you take it there now to the place you would look for it first, and that place is already full. Then you go, wait, is this actually an organizing container that I like? Or is this the kind that I would always choose these three other kind first before I ever got to this? Do you know what I'm saying? Because not all of them are created equal. The other thing too, and I'm sitting here saying this thinking, have I already said this to y'all? Or did I say it in the 11 minutes before? I don't know. The main thing that I learned about containers and things like that was declutter down to the point where even without any fancy bins or baskets, I can easily get to access the things that I have in this space. Okay. So declutter to the point where I don't have to move a bunch of stuff to get to anything, where I'm able to see and access what I need. Okay. And then live with it for a while. And many times I will decide, oh, I don't actually need any kind of bins or baskets in here, because I just have it decluttered down to the point where what I have fits easily just on the shelf itself. Or I live with it for a while, and then I know exactly what I need for this space that would truly make it easier for this space to function, as opposed to just getting something that's okay, well, this is a container, something, but doesn't really fit. Living with it for a while will help me either know I don't need it, or will help me know exactly what I need. Okay. All right. I hope that made any sense, because sometimes re-saying things is really, really confusing for my brain. I'm so sorry, y'all, that I did not know that I was live. Anyway, I am amazing. Here we go. All right. So let me go down. Evidently, there were a lot of great people commenting about where is Dana as I was talking. Anyway, so here we go. I hope y'all actually hear me now, because if y'all are about to tell me that you didn't hear anything I just said, I think I'll just give up. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm going to show you some of my fancy things that I have. All right. I wanted to talk to y'all about Take Your House Back. Okay. For those of you who have not joined yet, this is a great time to join. It's under $100. You can buy it anytime, but it is on sale now through tomorrow night, because on Saturday, we're going to do an all-day declutter. Yay! Okay, so what is Take Your House Back? Let me explain. So Cass from Clutterbug, Dawn from The Minimal Mom, and I came together and created a course. You purchase the course, and then you have a sign-in there at takeyourhouseback.com, and you work through the modules. And those modules will help you take your house back, whatever level you're at, whatever energy level, physical abilities, anything that wherever you are, this is designed to help you take your house back. Okay, so you're going to go through the course, and you can do that anytime you want. It's totally at your own pace. You can, it's not like giving assignments or anything, but a couple times a year, we have an all-day declutter, and there's going to be one on Saturday where we declutter live together. Everybody who's in the course is, if they want to, not everybody does it, but anyway, everybody in the course is working on the same spaces together, applying all the things that you've learned from the course. So go ahead, look through it. You'll still be able to get a lot out of Saturday, even if you haven't had time to go through the course. But it's so much fun. Like, there's so much energy that happens when people all over the world are all decluttering at the same time. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to show y'all, look, I'm sorry. I just have to see, I'm not cool yet. I'm not, look, I even have a picture. I should have showed that while I was talking, right? I'm not cool enough to do this. Anyway, okay. So I just want to make sure y'all knew about that so that you don't miss out. Again, that's at takeyourhouseback.com. The all-day declutter is for course members. Okay, so it's well worth joining in. All right, so let me go to my next question. For those of y'all who, Oh my word, LAB, I have to show your comment. Look how I can show people's comments. Her husband says that I am the second best thing that's ever happened to her. I love it. Love that so much. Okay. Wait, how do I not have that up there forever? Wait, I wasn't going to keep that on there forever. Y'all, sorry. Okay, here we go. Next question. For those of y'all who would like to ask questions for future lives, there is a link to a form in the description of this video, and you can submit questions there for me to answer in the future. And then at the end here, I will take questions from those of y'all who are watching live. Okay, next we have how to deal with medical files, children's files, old photographs, 20 years of it, and children's artwork. The children are now adults. Okay, so basically it's just a list of super overwhelming things, right? I am not the person to tell you how to, put everything into this perfect system that's elaborate, but I am the person who is here for the person who's overwhelmed. And it sounds like you're overwhelmed, the person who's asking this question, because you named off categories that are generally overwhelming and you're thinking of all of them at once. So here's the main thing I'm going to say when you're overwhelmed by paper. Remember, it's probably not all as overwhelming as you feel like it is. Okay. Medical files feel like, oh my goodness, medical files. That's serious. I'm not here to teach you or tell you what you need to keep for medical files, but I am someone who understands that when I'm already overwhelmed by medical stuff, anything medical that comes in the mail, I just put it over there, put it over there, put it over there, and the pile grows. Where in reality, when I will look through that stuff, I am generally able to see that out of an envelope that was this thick that I got in the mail, there was only actually one real paper that I needed in there, and the rest was all these disclaimers or blah blah blah, or sometimes just an extra sheet of blank paper or whatever in an envelope. So even just using the strategy of look, always look through the paper with zero commitment and just say, I'm going to look through. She's probably wrong. It's probably all important, but I'm just going to look through and see if there's anything that just obviously needs to go. And when I do that, my pile usually goes from here to here. Okay. Just by doing that. But also my brain starts to adjust and be less overwhelmed because I know what's in the pile. Even though I haven't made any decisions about it, it's no longer just a daunting, oh my goodness, what's in their pile? Now my brain knows what's in there. So then I'm ready sooner again to really tackle it and get to work on that. Okay. As far as children's artwork and children's papers, you mentioned 20 years ago. I'm not for sure, exactly the timeline here, but when you mentioned that the kids are now adults, all right? If the kids are adults, it might be time to ask them, to just go ahead and ask them, because for right now, those things are sitting there, and it can feel like, what's the point of doing anything if I can't completely solve it right now? Okay. But with that attitude, we often just then put it off. And so then it is sitting there and nothing's happening. So instead, maybe send a group text and say, hey, y'all know I kept all of your children's papers. Oh, I have adult children now. And when I say stuff like that, they generally are like, we don't want any of that, whatever. Or they make some snide remark about me having kept or not kept or whatever things. I'm just saying, start the conversation. That's something you can do today. It's very daunting when you think of all the things that there are to do for a category of things, but instead say, what is something I can do today? I can send a group text to my kids and say, I think I'm ready to start dealing with paper. A lot of it is your stuff that I kept from when y'all were little. Are y'all going to want me to keep, let me know how you feel about that. And there's a really good chance if you have 4 kids that 2 or 3 of them are going to say, throw all mine away. I don't want it. Okay. And you may still keep a few things, whatever. But knowing is going to change how you go into all of that stuff. Again, there's probably some stuff in there that is not sentimental. Okay. But even still, just knowing ahead of time what it is that their expectations are fine. And then if they say, oh, I want to look through it, then that gives you the opportunity to stick it in a tub and take it to their house or say, next time you're here, why don't you go ahead and take this or whatever? Because that's generally why we keep that stuff, right? Is because we think they might want it eventually. So just starting that conversation is a way for you to get started on that, or looking through it um, with no obligations, with no expectations for that. Looking through it, just like with the medical stuff, because sometimes, like with my kids' stuff, I would find that even though I thought it was a pile where I had, put all of their very best work on it, I found out that actually the two things on top were things that they were super proud of. And then it was like scribble pages or blank paper or whatever in there too. And I was able to significantly reduce that stuff. Okay. All right. Here we go. Next question. Okay. Oh, thank y'all for being understanding about y'all. I probably said some really amazing things for those first 11 minutes when I wasn't even live. What is wrong with me? Anyway. Okay, here we go. I'm going to abbreviate this one a little bit. So in a few months, my husband and I will be moving. Now, just so you know, I feel a little bit bad because some of these questions were asked a while ago, right? So they're not necessarily a time sensitive thing on these question and answer form. But anyway, my husband and I will be moving with our 3 kids across the country from our own 1,500 square foot house into a temporary situation. Okay. And the idea is, okay, we're crafters, musicians. I am an avid cook and baker. I keep a tidy house and manage my inventory. But the idea of decluttering our beloved supplies for the move, only to have to rebuy them all later, horrifies my frugal heart and my husband's wallet. But I don't know how to decide if something is worth storing instead of rebuying. I'm feeling overwhelmed by the uncertainty. How do I tackle this situation? So it all comes down to the container concept, right? Like, how much space do you have in your in-laws' home for storing things? Are you going to have a storage unit? And how much can you afford for a storage unit? How big is the house going to be? Even just saying, we're going to move into another house that's the same size. Well, getting the boxes that are meant for a house that size, that's what I did. And using the container concepts that way was amazing, because there's something, it was never about, I'm going to fill up all the boxes. It just, knowing that there was a limit to boxes. I didn't even end up using them all. Knowing there was a limit to the number of boxes, because there was a limit to the amount of space that we had, meant that everything looked different to me from the very first thing that I put in a box, because it was like, is this box worthy? Is this container worthy? Is this space worthy? And just having that as a question that I'm asking myself means that as I pick up this item, a lot of things where if I wasn't asking myself that question, I would just be filling up the boxes, right? Because it wouldn't occur to me that I might run out of box space at some point, because I'm like, well, I'll just buy more boxes. But knowing there's a limit means everything I picked up, it just reveals itself as being worth packing or not packing. Okay. Because there is a limit to the amount of space. And so just doing that is huge. Okay. So just figuring out the space that you have to store, the space that you have to do that is going to help you do that. As far as the rebuying, I think going ahead and acknowledging and asking yourself the decluttering questions about things, instead of obsessing over, these are our supplies that I've always known that we had, and I'm gonna, I might use it someday. Like the whole might use it someday. Is it valuable? Is it something that we like? I just can't ask myself those questions. Okay. Like, what might I ever need this? I don't ask that. Instead, I just ask, if I needed this item, where would I look for it first? And asking that question helps reveal and bring me to that second question, if I need it, of would it ever occur to me that I already had one? Okay. And just doing that is going to reveal to me, oh, wait, I actually would never go looking for this. even in this house. And so it's ready to go. So, just asking yourself those questions instead of focusing on the what if I have to rebuy. All right. Because we can all use a good decluttering, right? Like at any time, we can all use good decluttering. So focusing on that. As far as like supplies like that, um, you know, designate out of the boxes that you have overall, designate, okay, these are going to be things, these are going to be boxes for like everyday use type items. And these are going to be the boxes for the supplies for all of the things that we like to do. And let those boxes be the limits for those things. And that will just help you kind of sort out, oh, wait, I don't actually need this many reams of paper. I actually will be fine if we have, one or two, whatever. Okay. All right. And now I have another banner to show y'all. I did want to let you know that on September 12th, I have a session at Get Organized HQ called Busting Through Your Best Excuses. And you can watch it for free for the first 24 hours. So that's basically on September 12th. If you want to go to that, if you want to go sign up for that, you can go to my link or wherever, but anyway, at aslobcomesclean.com/HQ, then that will give you the link to go sign up for the free pass. Okay. Because the free pass allows you to do, to watch it for free for the first, 24 hours. And you can watch all the sessions for their first 24 hours. But I just want to make sure that y'all know that Busting Through Your Best Excuses is on the 12th, which I think is next Monday. I hope. Okay. All right. Look at all this. Look at me and all my little fancy things I'm doing. I'm so proud of myself. Okay. Let's see. One more question, then I'll take a few from the group, from the people who are watching. Okay. This is another one where somebody is very, very overwhelmed. Okay. We were able to purchase our first home. And she talks about, her struggles with OCD and ADHD. And she is very organized many times, but she's very paralyzed by unpacking and feeling the need to find a home immediately for something, which I think is totally valid. And now it's a year and a half later, and that overwhelm over needing to find a place immediately, but then being overwhelmed and thinking, I don't know what the perfect place is for this. That right there is stopping her from actually doing anything with these boxes. There's stuff still sitting in boxes because of that, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. So we moved in November of last year. And so I get it. I get it because you haven't lived in this house before. And yet, not to sound too woo-woo or abstract, but I still would pick something up and I would ask myself the question. I mean, I'm still doing it. We're working through the stuff in our garage. There's videos coming on that later. But I would still pick something up and ask myself the question, if I needed this item, where would I look for it first? And then I would go with whatever it was that popped in my brain as the first place where I would look for this item. Okay. Because remember, it is not where would this item be when I went looking for it. That is not the first decluttering question. It is not that you're going to have confidence that it's going to be there when you get there. You are literally saying, if I had no idea where this item was, where is the first place where I would go when I was looking for it? What is the first drawer that I would open? The first closet I would open? The first trunk I don't know. I'm just looking around my room and thinking of things. But like, where is the first place where would I look for this first? Okay. That's literally the question. And then you take it there now, because you have to have a home for it, right? It's not working for it to be in the boxes. It needs to be in a home. This is how you give it a home. This is how you determine a home for something, is to ask yourself the question, whether you've just moved or not. The way you determine the home for something that actually works is, if I needed this item, where would I look for it first? And then you take it there right now. That action of taking it there right now will mean that then that item actually is, you've acted on this, it is in the place where you would look first for it. But also, that action of taking it there right now is going to force you to be realistic about, oh, okay, I think that the first place where I would look for this, I don't know, what is something where I would look for this book is the bookshelf in, you know, my husband's office or whatever. Okay, so I go and I take it there right now. Sometimes when I'm just thinking, oh yeah, the place where I look for it first is the bookshelf in my husband's office, and then if I was to set it down and not act on that right now, then that's just a vague idea. Where in reality, when I get to that space because I take it there right now, then I realize, oh wait, he's actually got it set up the way that he wants it. And if I was to add this book, it would mess things up. Oh wait, this book is one that he actually said that he didn't like, and well, so I can get rid of it. So going ahead and taking it there now makes me face reality, makes me really look at it and say, is this going to work? Does this have an actual place in my home? All right. And then you live with it for a while. This is what I did early on. I would just say, where would I look for this first? Especially in my kitchen. I would stand there and think, okay, where would I look first for my colander? And I thought, that right there, that uh, cabinet over there, that's where I think I would look first for it there. Okay, so I put it there. Well, then I found myself looking in the drawer right to, my right, the bottom drawer to my right. I kept opening that up and looking in there for my colander, and it was never there. And so I went, wait a minute, I am looking for this first here. So I'm going to move that to this space. Okay. Because I don't want it to be in the second place where I'd look. I want it to be in the first place where I look. So that's how you go about doing that. Does that make sense? So knowing that it can change, but like you said, you don't want to do anything unless you put it in its home. And that's right. But you determine the home according to where I would look for it first. The other thing too is, because the stuff has been in boxes for a year and a half. I know, like we've gotten the house pretty much done, but there are still some random boxes out in the garage that we just went through little by little over the summer. And because it was stuff that, hadn't been used in a while, the stuff that we obviously either had done without or replaced over the course of, the time that we've been living in the house, um, a lot of it I was ready to let go because it had been out there. So, view that as an advantage. You wish you weren't in this situation, but you are. And so view that as an advantage that I'm going to go through these things and know that my house is mostly the way I want it to be. So something's gonna have to earn a place here, right? Like it has to really have some value in order for me to have it in my house. And also with that, uh, with the take it there now, there were many times where I was like, where would I look for this first? I would look for it upstairs, and I'm like, I'm not walking upstairs, so I'm gonna just donate it because I don't love it that much, right? So like that, taking it there now will often help me to go, oh wait, I don't actually need this. All right, let me let's see, we've got some questions here. I'm sorry, Diane, that you have to go. Let's see. What if you declutter a flat space like a table and the first place you would look for it is on the table? Okay, so in this situation, yeah, I mean, you get to the point where you're like, I'm used to things just randomly being in this catch-all space or whatever. Eliminate that, meaning you decluttered the table. You want the table to be decluttered, right? You want it to be a clutter-free space. And so if your tendency is to say, well, I would look for it on that table there, but that table needs to not have a screwdriver laying on it all the time, then you say, okay, if this table was clear and the way that I want it, the decluttered, status that I want it to have, then where would I look for it first? Okay, so just eliminate that space if that space is a space that needs to be done. Okay. All right. So Monique says, amazing how helpful that question is. The permission it grants to put things where it works for you in your home is so great. I'm telling you, that was the biggest thing for me, was like letting go of all of those. I mean, like all of so much of my mess not counting the piles and things, but I had mess. With things that I had put away, that I had tried to organize, that I had tried to put in the perfect right space. And when I had over analyzed it and thought too hard about the perfect place for something to go, then I couldn't find it. And that is not a functional home. If I can't find it, it's not a functional home. I mean, people say that all the time, right? They say things like, oh, I got organized and now I can't find anything. I mean, it's funny because it's true. And that is what I used to do, except that it doesn't have to be that way. I know now that it doesn't have to be that way. I know that if I will put things in the place where I would look for them first, 98% of the time, it's going to be in the first place where I look for it, which then is going to make me feel successful and feel like, wow, it was worth it to declutter because now I actually know what I have. I know where it is. I can get to it immediately, easily. So there's so much power in that. Look at me using all these fancy things. Okay, here we go. Here's a question. How is my gardening going? How are the principles working outside? I let go of a lot of pots, but I still have a pile of them, so I don't have to buy more if I need them later. Okay, so as far as the pots go, that's going to go back to, I think it was the first question that I did. I'm not sure if you got here later, but I get it that you want to keep the pots, but they have to have a designated, limited space where they stay as pots to be used later, right? They can't take up room that you need for other things. And yeah, just having a designated limited space is going to help you identify which ones you really love versus which ones are just kind of like, eh. You would just keep it if you were like, well, I might use it someday. We don't ask that question. So we say, what is the space that I have? And we put our favorites in there first. As far as my garden, so we went out of town at the end of May and beginning of June. While we were gone, my neighbor's cows broke into my garden and ate all my green beans. Now, I'd never actually seen a green bean on there yet. I was just hoping that they were going to like appear while we were out of town. And so I don't know if some green beans grew and then they ate them or what, but they never, like they grew back, the plants grew back, but I never got any green beans. I got a few zucchinis. So we made my favorite zucchini dish probably 3 or 4 times. And anyway, and the weeds got really out of control while I was out of town. And so I basically said, okay, I'm going to focus hard on, I got a lot of cucumbers, so I made a lot of pickles, but I said, I'm going to focus really hard on this space with the okra. Like I just decided this is going to be where my focus is. So I worked on weeding that space and the rest of the garden was a big weedy mess. But I said, I'm just going to worry about the okra because that's the most important thing to me. And that's where I can take my time. And then we just had such a hot summer. I did get okra, but I never got a huge amount like I wanted. We did have like 3 or 4 meals where I had like a meal's worth of okra that we made. But I'm learning and I'm excited to do it again. Like I'm excited to try again next year. I might try planting pumpkins. I hope I'm not too late for the fall. But anyway, but yeah, like the same principles work, and it's the get out there and do what you can for the time that you have. But anyway, I won't go into too much, but like it was hard when I was trying to film so many YouTube videos because it's so hot in Texas, and like I could get out there super early in the morning, but like even being out there from 7 a.m. to 7:45, I was all hot and sweaty. And when I was trying to do YouTube videos, I didn't want to be hot and sweaty. And so anyway, how's it going? I don't know. Anyway, okay, let's go to the new comments. Okay. Oh, I love this. Thank you so much, Radine. She says, I can't tell you how much you've helped me with my decluttering journey. It's become second nature now to pick up an item and ask myself where I would look for this first. That is such a powerful thing that you're saying because it is so true. Like in the beginning, it feels like, really, could that make that much of a difference? Is that really going to work? Try it. Try the I need to find a home for this item, so I'm going to use the first decluttering question. If I needed this item, where would I look for it first? And then take it there now. Do that. I just had somebody today, I don't remember where it was, but say, I didn't believe it. I did not believe that that was going to make an impact. And I can't believe the power. I thought I was going to get distracted. I thought all these things, and instead I'm making progress, only progress. And the more that you do that, the more that you just start to live that way, and you start to know what to do with an item when you pick it up. I mean, that used to be part of my problem. I had so much stuff. I didn't know where things didn't have homes. And so I'd pick it up and I'd be like, I don't know what to do with this. Instead, I feel empowered by that question to be like, I know what to do. Any random thing in my house, I can pick it up and ask myself the question, where would I look for this first? And then I can take it there now. And if I can't answer that question, where would I look for it first? Then I ask the second question, if I needed this, would it ever occur to me that I already had one? And then I'm ready to just let it go if the answer is no to that. Okay. Let's see. Takes a long time to grow pumpkin. I'll just try. Okay. Let's see. How do you decide which papers are important enough to keep? You have 13 years of papers in a filing cabinet from when you got married until now. So I am not the person who tells you like legally what you need to keep. All right. Instead, I am the person who will tell you, go ahead and go through it, because there will be some things that are super obvious. So you might be able to go from, a thing of papers this big to a thing of papers this big just by going through it, getting into your mind what it is that you're actually dealing with, what it is that's in this space. And then you can start doing some research on, what do I actually need to keep? Because so many times it's just paper, this might be important, I put it in there, and then 2 weeks later it's obvious that it's not important anymore. Question. Do I do a daily reset in certain areas of your home? I mean, I would say yes. I mean, I don't call it that, but that's what doing the dishes is, right? Like, it's basically doing the dishes every day means that I am not at a deficit tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, doing it today, because I understand dishes math, which is that 1 day's worth of dishes takes 10 to 15 minutes. 2 days worth of dishes doesn't take double that. It takes an hour, because then you're finagling and moving and all that. 3 days worth of dishes is hours of work. Okay. So understanding that, knowing that doing it today is going to mean a whole lot less time overall, that is my motivation to go ahead and get it done today. And then that puts me at a place tomorrow where I only have to do 1 day's worth of dishes. So I would say that's similar to a reset. A 5-minute pickup, I mean, that is the goal, is to declutter your house to the point where you can easily keep it under control. If you want a way to know, are you easily keeping it under control, is a 5-minute pickup with the people that are available to do the 5-minute pickup with you. Is 5 minutes enough for me to get the house, the space, whatever, back under control? And if it is, then you know that, okay, I can do this. Okay. Banking, doing the dishes. I mean, really, it kind of, that's how it is. Here we go. How can I help my nanny family with their excess? I have tried to explain dishes math and the container concept. Okay, so with that one, I don't know. It's hard for me to know your relationship with that, whatever. If it's, one of the most helpful things to do with someone else who's overwhelmed in their home is to help with the dishes, is to help with the laundry. I don't know if that's something that you can do as part of your role, but that is, I mean, I had a podcast, but right in May that I put out where helped clean out hoarders' homes. Okay, that was his job. And he, was like, what is the number one thing someone can do to help? And I'm not saying that's the situation here. I'm just saying in all these situations where someone is overwhelmed, do the dishes. Start with the dishes so they can start to see, oh, wow, that is incredibly powerful in the whole overall state of the home. Also, the dishes math, reality, you do the dishes, then they're able to start from there, because there's something about being like, I need to do stuff on my house. Ugh, I gotta catch up on dishes first. Taking that out of the equation by doing the dishes every day helped me make so much more progress in so much more of my house than just the kitchen, because the dishes were already done. So when I had a burst of energy, I didn't first have to catch up on dishes. So I'm saying, working with that. Let's see. Dana, are you an out of sight, out of mind person? I am. So I'm trying to figure out how to put stuff away and have them out to remember the items too. Okay, I think yes and no. I mean, like, but I don't think of it that way. Here's the thing. When I'm asking myself the question, where would I look for this first? It kind of eliminates that issue. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm asking myself the question, where would I look for this first? And like somebody else asked the question earlier, but what if where I'd look for it first is just strewn on top of the table? I take that out of the equation. Okay. So I might have to make that extra step of where would I look for this first when this space is cleared? But because I'm thinking that way, then I'm able to find the stuff that I need, which kind of takes away the whole out of sight, out of mind thing. Does that make sense? I don't know. All right, so I am going to, let's see, we've been 41 minutes. I'm going to show you another banner here, takeyourhouseback.com. Make sure if you have not checked it out, y'all. I had something else I was going to show y'all. Where is it? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find these things. Oh, here we go. Testimonials. Oh, is that too small for y'all to be able to see? Anyway, these are testimonials. I mean, they were just like the comments on a video that we did talking about it from people who, I mean, people's houses are changing from this. I mean, it is truly, truly amazing and exciting to see the power of people just knowing what to do and having a method to work through your house and changing how you think about your house, but then also having very practical strategies to change how your house is. So for this Saturday, for the all-day declutter, which is for course members, what we're going to do is we're going to work in the kitchen first, and then we're going to work in catch-all spaces. And Dawn and I are going to talk through decluttering, help you do decluttering for 2 hours, and then Cass is going to come in with organizing strategies in those. So you're really going to dive deep into those spaces. If you don't want to work on that space, you can listen along and work in another space in your house, and you're going to make huge progress. Okay. Just remember that when you see something about an all-day declutter and you think, oh my goodness, that sounds like something where I would end up, tearing my whole house apart. Y'all, we're using my decluttering strategy. I don't tear spaces apart. We do one item at a time. We do not pull everything out of a space. So you're only going to be better off at the end of Saturday. Okay. And it's amazing the kind of progress that people make. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop there. If you would like to ask questions for a future live, which I am planning to do at Tuesdays at noon, we'll see. Anyway, you can go to the link in the description of this video, and there's a form there that you can fill out to submit questions for me to answer in future lives. Okay, it's been fun. I'm glad to see y'all again. This has been great. All right, I'll talk to you later.